अगर ऐसा कुछ वापस हुआ तो what should I do? Windows P duplicate.
विंडो पे अगर ऐसा कुछ होता है तो विंडोज दबा के P वहाँ डुप्लीकेट हो जाता है, होना नहीं चाहिए वैसे। और अवॉइड की मतलब ये ब्लू
वायर टच हो।
मैं उसको अगर साइड कर सकते हो देख लो।
Hi dear students, a very good afternoon to all of you, and I welcome you to yet another very interesting session on the YouTube channel of ODA Class. So dear students, in today's class we are all learning about resources. Now this is a very important topic in your science as well as it also overlaps with geography. So listen to this session very carefully. And my dear students, first of all, let me tell you that to learn more of such interesting topics, you can download our ODA app, and it is a live learning app. You can attend live sessions and also interact with the teachers over there. Now dear students, for more such interesting sessions as well as to learn some important core concepts, you can come and join our Concept Booster course, which is a 1-week long program. In this program, we teach you very important core concepts necessary for your school exams, Olympiads, and they build a very strong foundation for your higher grades. So do join this. You can join this 1-week long program by clicking on the link in description for just rupees 29, 49 or 99. Now let us start this class, dear students. Let me begin with my introduction. So my name is Kritika Sharma. I am your Master Science teacher here at ODA Class. More about myself, I have completed my post-graduation from Punjab University, Chandigarh, and I have also secured rank 1 in PU CET PG. And in my more than 2 years of teaching experience, I have taught so many students, such amazing students just like you. So, dear students, our today's topic is resources. So, dear students, we have so many things around us. All kind of things are around us. But how do we classify anything, or how do we categorize anything as a resource, whether or not if that substance is a resource to us? So for this, let me give you a very simple, a very effective definition for resources. So dear students, this is the chapter outline of whatever things we'll be learning today. We'll be learning about resources, classification of resources, and the conservation of natural resources. Now let us try to define the natural resources. Now for example, you're sitting in a room, there are so many things and substances around you. There can be a table, a chair, a fan probably. Now, are all of these things a resource to you? How do we judge that? So for this, there are only 2 points that you have to keep in mind. So yes, you can understand if anything is a resource to you or not if that is useful. It adds utility to your life. If any substance is useful, it adds some kind of utility to your life, that means it can be a resource. And then the second point to remember here is that it adds some value to our lives. Okay? So these are the 2 points you can keep in mind, and with this you can understand, you can categorize anything if that is a resource to you. And here is a quick definition. So we tell resources are those substances which are useful to the mankind. Clear to everyone? So these are the 2 points, useful, and second, it adds value to your life. Now some common examples of the resources around us are the air, soil, paper, machines, etc. These are some very common examples, and all of these things are a resource to us. Right? You can also note down this definition because it forms a very important, a very common question that is being asked in the examination. Usually a 1 or 2 marker question can be asked that define resources. So you must be able to define resources in a simple yet very clear way. Now let us move ahead, and now we will all be classifying the resources. So dear students, there are so many types of resources and they must be categorized, they must be segregated. So on the basis of origin and on the basis of renewability, we can classify these resources. Now, let us dive deep into this classification and let us do a more detailed classification of the resources around us. Now, dear students, have a look right here. So, this is a mind map that I've created for you so that it is very, very easy for all of you to understand the classification of the resources. So, resources, first they can be classified on the basis of origin. Right. So, origin, on the basis of origin, we can classify resources either as natural or as man-made or not natural. So, on their origin, from where they have originated, that is the basis of this classification. And secondly, we can classify them on the basis of renewability. If either the resources are renewable, they can replenish them over the time, or they are exhaustible or non-renewable resources. So, let us try to understand and learn about these types of resources one by one. So, dear students, first of all, we will all be learning about the natural resources. So, as the name suggests, natural, their origin is natural. That means they are already there in the nature. Clear? So, dear students, natural resources are those kind of resources which are already available in the nature, and the humans use them to meet their needs, to meet their requirements, right? So, these are natural resources. You can look around yourself and you can name so many natural resources. Like for an example, natural resources, sunlight is the very best example, soil, water, air, plants and animals. We have so many things in nature that are useful to us, that adds value to our lives. So, natural resources are those resources which are already available, already present in the nature, and humans use them to satisfy their needs. Now, these natural resources can also be further classified. Okay, so we can further classify these natural resources as biotic and abiotic in nature. So, as we know, the term biotic means living things. So, all of those natural things which are living in nature, which can breathe, which can grow, which can reproduce, they all will fall under the category of the biotic resources. Now, these can vary from animals, livestock around us, plants, fruits. All of these are the biotic natural resources. On the other hand, those type of natural substances which do not grow, which do not reproduce, and can be termed as non-living objects, they fall under the abiotic natural resources. Now, what are the examples of abiotic resources? As you can look around right here. Look in this picture, it's such a beautiful picture. It details all of the biotic and abiotic natural resources. So, you can look here. Water, rocks, these all are non-living in nature. So, they all form the category of abiotic natural resources. I hope it is clear to you, dear students, and in the comment section you can write down what all other abiotic natural resources you can observe right here in this picture or this diagram. Let us now move ahead, dear students, and now we will all be learning about the man-made resources. So, the name itself is self-explanatory. Man-made resources, those resources which were not available in the nature, but to satisfy our requirements, our needs, the man created them. So, these are the man-made resources, not available naturally, but made by the people, are known as the man-made resources. Very, very good examples you write on notebooks, right? These notebooks, the paper, it was not readily available in the nature, right, dear students? So, paper, plastic, glass and electricity, they all are the examples of the man-made resources. Now, one thing to be kept in mind here is that the man-made resources are also formed from the natural resources itself. Like for example, if we are having an example of paper over here, paper, it usually comes from the trees. So, tree itself is a natural resource. If we talk about glass over here, so in making of glass, silica is used. Silica is itself an abiotic natural resource. Then if we talk about tires, tires are made from rubber. Rubber is a natural resource. Another example we can use is furniture around us. Furniture usually made up of wood, comes from trees, again a natural resource. So the man-made resources are also derived from the natural resources. You must keep this in mind. So let us move further, dear students, and now we will all be talking about the renewable and non-renewable resources. So we classified them on the basis of origin. Now we are going to classify them on the basis of their renewability. Now, renewability, it means that it can replenish itself over the time. Now, whether a resource can replenish or renew itself over the period of time, that determines if either a resource is renewable in nature or non-renewable in nature. So, let us first learn about the renewable resources. Dear students, renewable resources are those type of resources, those type of substances which will renew themselves, which will generate once again over the period of time. These resources can also be termed as they do not finish up. Why? Because their rate of replenishment is much faster than the rate at which we consume them, right? So these resources, they will never finish up. Very good example is solar energy. So solar energy is there, it is a renewable source of energy and we continue to use it. In the upcoming thousands and millions of years, there is no chance that the solar energy would not be there. So that is one example of renewable resources. Ocean current, winds, these all are renewable resources for us. Now, let us understand about the non-renewable resources. Now, the term itself explains non-renewable. So, these resources, they are not going to renew themselves over a period of time. They either do not renew themselves or they take thousands, millions, billions of years to renew, and which is not possible in the lifespan of an average human. So, that is why these resources, they can exhaust or finish up if we as human, we as mankind do not use them properly. So dear students, they can also be termed as the exhaustible resources. Like for an example, fossil fuels are there. Now we all know fossil fuels, they are formed when some kind of vegetations, it get buried up under the layers of earth. With increasing time, increasing pressure and heat below the earth, it might get converted into fossil fuels if the conditions are correct, right? But my dear students, it is very complicated to analyze if these fossil fuels can be formed, or to guarantee that if some vegetation is getting buried under the layers of the earth, it will form fossil fuels or not. So it is a very tricky question and nobody is yet able to answer that. So that is why even if this process continues, it will be taking so much longer than the period of an average human. So if we finish up the fossil fuels, they won't be available for the upcoming generation. That is why we say that these resources are exhaustible resources. They will finish up if not used judiciously. So I hope the concept of renewable and non-renewable resources is clear to you, and I would like all of you to comment down one example of these non-renewable resources. Let us move ahead, dear students. Now, there are many chances that resources are not readily available to us. For example, a fruit can be considered as a resource for us humans, right? We can just go pluck that fruit from the tree. Now what exactly are we doing? We are removing that fruit, that is a resource, we are removing that resource from its natural environment. So this process of removing the resource from its natural environment is termed as the extraction of resources. Similarly, can be an example of mining. So there are so many minerals that we need for so many activities. We need metals. Now all of these are present inside the layers of the earth. For this, we will have to go and we have to mine it up. Now what are we doing? We are removing that metal, we are removing the ores, or we are removing the minerals from its natural environment. And this process of removing the resource from its natural environment is known as the extraction of resource. Some resources do not need any extraction, but in most of the cases, we would have to extract the resources. Some resources like minerals, fuels, they are all extracted by either mining or by the process of digging. Let us move ahead. Now, we have a term here that is hydroelectricity, electricity that is produced by the water. Now, making hydroelectricity from the flowing water by using the turbines, it is also can be termed as the extraction of the resources. So, the extraction of resources, the concept is very simple. All you have to do is to define extraction of resources is you just take out the resource from its natural environment, and that can be termed as the extraction of the resources. Now we have learned so much about the resources and so many different types of resources we have learned. Now the thing that that is most important to note here is these resources, some of them, they are non-renewable in nature or exhaustible in nature, right? So they need to be conserved. Why do we need to conserve them? Because if we do not, they will be finished up. They will not be available for the future generations, right? So that is why we need to use them. If we use them at a higher rate, which it means if the rate of consumption of these resources is much higher as compared to the rate of production, then we need to conserve these resources. This itself is a very good reason as to why we need to conserve these resources. As you know, overuse of the natural resource, it can hamper the rate of production. Now, what are the simple things that we can do to conserve these resources? So, dear students, what all things we can do here is, these are the simple things. The very first thing we can do is ban deforestation. So, if we stop cutting down trees, we encourage afforestation, then in many ways we can conserve a lot of natural resources. We should promote the use of non-renewable, we should promote the use of renewable resources as compared to the non-renewable natural resources. Like for an example, few years ago, the concept of electric vehicles, it was not that prevalent. But nowadays, we all are aware about these electric vehicles and they do not use any kind of petroleum or fossil fuels. So that is why the use of these kind of resources should be encouraged, and the use of non-renewable resources, it should be, it should be done with caution, or we should avoid them completely. We should find new methods to promote the renewable sources of resources. Now let us just move ahead, and now we come to the part we are here summarizing what all things we have learned in this class. So dear students, first of all, we understood what exactly is a resource. There are two terms that you need to remember. Resources, they must be useful to us, and dear students, they must add some kind of value to our lives. We classified the resources on the basis of their origin and on the basis of renewability. We understood what is extraction of resources. It is simply removing the resources from its natural environment, and then we understood how with simple causes we can conserve our resources. Now dear students, I hope this session was informative to all of you, and my dear champions, to continue to learn such interesting topics, I welcome you to enroll into our Concept Booster program, which is a 1 week long program. In this Concept Booster course, you get math sessions, science sessions, and you will also be provided with a personal mentor teacher who will be there to look after your all academic needs. You will be given homeworks, tests for your practice, and e-books as well. To enroll into this program, all you have to do is, click on the link. Click on the link right there in the description box. Click on enroll now. You can go ahead and you can complete the enrollment at a very affordable price of $29, $49 or $99, solely based upon your class. So that is it, dear students. Do join us on the ODA app, and I'll see you there. Bye dear students, take care.